Welcome to Jazz on My Mind. I'm Richard Blackwell. And today, our broadcast is coming from, once again, West LA Music, located at 11345 Santa Monica Boulevard in West Los Angeles. And today we're being visited by a young man who is not only a great jazz guitar player, but also a wonderful jazz arranger and composer. Our conversation with Matt Ritvo is coming up next on Jazz on My Mind. Matt, welcome to Jazz on My Mind.
Thank you for having me, sir.
How you been? It's good to see you.
I've been great, and you?
I've been doing good, man. Thank you. Matt, I met you at the Charles Mingus tribute several months ago. You were there as a guest of a good friend of ours, Romley Michael Davis. And it was good to meet you, and I told you at that point I want to have you on the show. So I'm glad you were able to make it.
Well, thank you for having me here. It's really an honor.
You got it. Now, Matt, your latest CD, the Matt Ritvo Group. I love this CD. When did you start playing the jazz guitar? When did your love for jazz begin?
I guess probably around 15 years old. I started playing guitar late. I started playing when I was 13. And my teacher, Chuck Yamick, told me after just a couple of years that if I really wanted to be any good, I had to play jazz because that's the hardest music there is.
So in your playing, who were some of the people who were your mentors at a young age when you first started playing the guitar? Who were some of the people that you admired?
People I was listening to?
Yes.
Well, I loved George Benson.
Right.
And beautiful guitar sounds, and he plays and sings along with his guitar. And, pretty early on, I got pretty heavy into Thelonious Monk. I love Monk, and that music really spoke to me.
Yeah.
I didn't understand Charlie Parker right away.
A lot of people still don't understand Charlie Parker. Wonderful musician, but just misunderstood in a lot of ways.
But Monk, well, I think Bird is kind of like Bach. Like when you play it, you really go, wow, that's really ingenious. When you hear it, it sounds kind of smooth and it makes sense, and you don't get how intricate it is, kind of like Bach. But in Monk, I loved Monk and Miles and Train when I was,
John Coltrane, of course.
Yes.
Wow, that's beautiful because everyone you mentioned is a legend. You know, Monk, Coltrane, Miles Davis. All of those musicians who came out of the 50s and the 60s, if you would agree, are legends.
Absolutely, it's the top of the pyramid.
And those are definitely the pioneers of the music that we love, which is called jazz. Now, your new CD, the Matt Ritvo Group, how did this CD come about? What culminated into this beautiful piece of work that you have on this wax?
Well, in the summer of 2007, I just decided to do it and go ahead and assemble the group of the best musicians I could, and take my songs, some of which I had written over 20 years ago. And,
are you serious?
Yeah. 396 Bellevue, track number 5.
Right.
That is the first really jazz song I ever wrote. I was 19 years old.
And I'm telling you, I heard that song. That song is marvelous. And you were 19 when you wrote it.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Thank you. And some of the materials that and a lot of it, I had a lot of material that had been sitting there for a long time, and I decided that I would go out and get the best players I could. First, I had to spend time on charts, and I wanted to have a 3-horn group, 2 saxes and trumpet, and just to do it right and get the best players I could, rehearse, spend time rehearsing. I filmed the whole thing just in case I ended up with an amazing history-making record. I wanted to have video footage for it.
That was smart.
Thank you, sir. And so I put the arrangements together for the 3 horns, assembled the band, rehearsed the band, and decided to use an amazing producer, Andrew Bush, who I'm friends with, who I had done a few rock and roll projects with, even going back to the early 1990s. When he first built his studio, he's my age, so he was, right, kind of fresh out of Harvard University at that time. He's small school in Boston, very shy about, but so I decided to go in there. It was a great decision because Andrew did a great job with the record. And I could tell you a little bit more about how I found these guys, but anyway.
But that's what I was going to ask you. These guys, your group, give the names of the people that have performed with you on this particular song, this album, the CD.
Yeah, the tenor player, there's a tenor player named Bobby English, who is a beautiful tone and really warm, expressive sound. He carries some of the melodies, the real important melodic parts, and plays beautiful solos on the record. And I met him in the early 90s. We used to have a jazz group together, and that was kind of when the evolution of the three-horn arrangements came about. And so him I've known the longest. And then I think I went to see Horace Tapscott years ago.
Wow, what a wonderful person.
He had some amazing musicians with him. Among them was Roberto Miranda, bass player.
And who I've had the pleasure of meeting, know extremely well, a wonderful bass player. Wonderful. Yes, he is. Very
Absolutely amazing,
very
spectacular musician, creative force, and also a wonderful guy.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
And Michael Session was playing with Horace Tapscott at the time too. So I think my mind was just kind of blown when I was 25 years old. I was in LA, I had some shows, and some piano player I didn't really know who he was.
Right.
And then these guys were just like elevating and playing this amazing stuff.
Right.
So I feel really indebted to Horace because I know Sonship Theus, the drummer, and Roberto Miranda, the bass player, Michael Session all came through his band. Romney Michael Davis had actually played with Tapscott a bit too. So I feel like the spirit of Horace Tapscott and the legacy of what he created comes through in the CD too. Because not everything you hear is the chemistry that I created. These guys have known each other for a long time.
And so the chemistry was there, and you just came and just augmented the whole situation.
Yeah. So I played a little bit with Roberto Miranda after seeing him back then, and when I was putting this project together, I knew I wanted them and Michael Session, and then I had no idea who was going to play drums, and that's really the most important member of any group is the drummer. And
who was your percussionist on this?
Oh, on this album, that's what I was going to get to. I got to go to see a concert at Mimi Melnick's, and Sonship Theus was playing drums with Roberto on bass. And I knew right away that was the guy I wanted. And he agreed to it. So I've got Sonship Theus playing drums, and then that left me with a complete band except for the number one voice, which is the trumpet, because I had these three-horn chart arrangements, and the highest voice in the horn section is number one, even not to say the other guys aren't important or couldn't be more important in a certain song, but that's the guy that's making the statement on top, even if I'm the leader and I'm playing guitar, playing melodies. So then I was really at a quandary, like, oh my God, I assembled the world's greatest band, but I don't have the top guy.
Right.
And Roberto suggested Rom Lee. And, Rom Lee, Michael Davis from Earth, Wind and Fire, Phil Collins.
Phoenix Horns, that's right.
Yeah.
And I smile when you say his name because Rom Lee, Michael Davis, is a wonderful friend of jazz on my mind. He's been on my website many times. I followed his performances and his career. He's from Chicago. I'm from Chicago. We went to the same junior college in Chicago. So when you say Rom Lee, Michael Davis, that name has a lot in my heart. But you put together quite an ensemble.
Yes.
That's marvelous. And so when you hear this CD, I'm telling you, I can hear every one of those names that you just mentioned. I can hear everyone performing their instrument just by hearing their names. And when you see and listen to this CD, I'm telling you, it's going to blow your mind. This is really a wonderful piece of work. I love Blues for Sonship, also Queensberry Street. I'm telling you, from one song to the next, it's like taking you on a nice cruise through Jazzland. Is that a nice way to put it?
I appreciate that.
It's a cruise through Jazzland, and you have different forms of jazz on this particular CD, and you wrote and composed all the songs. Is that correct?
Yeah, I wrote and arranged the record, and I try to put a lot of cutting-edge, avant-garde, take stuff as far as I can.
And you did in the first song, Dirty Murray. That is very avant-garde. I was like, man, it grabs your ear from the first song on the CD.
Cool. And how about that solo that Michael Session plays on the path?
Yeah, I love it. I'm telling you, from one song to the next, I said to myself, this is an incredible CD. I got to get Matt Ritvo on the show, and I'm glad that we can talk about it.
So yeah, like I said, I try to put in the writing. There's a lot of stuff that takes it as far as you can.